My top stock from last night's watch list just exploded over 65% today, and I'm going to teach you step by step how I caught it from the bottom to the top, trading an aftermarket open with my students all in real time. Now that stock today was YCBD, my top stock from last night's watch list, and this thing made a massive move today. Now the game played here on last night's watch list was either watching for pullbacks off of trendline support over $1.25 out of this past area of form demand, or watching the break of the previous high over $1.70. Well, this actually gapped up early in pre-market, so the only way you could have really played this today was over 170, because this thing just never pulled back. So thankfully we had two ways to watch this today. Of course, I didn't play it any back here because my trading hours typically are 9:30 to 11, so I caught this massive move all out of here at market open, and it was actually extremely simple. So going into market open, what I noticed is we had this really tight wedge forming right into the bell. So as you can see, we had these lower highs and higher lows stacked up going into market open, tightening up real good. And off the top of that wedge, we also had VWAP sitting right here, so if price did get breaking out over the top of that wedge, well, you'd also have VWAP acting there as support. But what I have to ask myself is, once it does break out, do I have any room to the upside? So I'm going to go back and look at my daily time frame. So I checked the daily chart and look at these past levels on the daily time frame, and what I notice here is we have this 250 and 270 level overhead on the daily. And I see that we pretty much have a clear setup over this $2 past daily low, which is also right there in line with the top of that wedge. So if price did break out, we'd be over that 2 daily level, we'd be over a VWAP, and we'd have range to those past daily lows. So I want to play this breakout here. So this gets breaking out after market open. The cannabis names are going crazy. This gets squeezing through its highs, and now I'm looking for pullback. So we see this next candle pull back and sort of settle here off of VWAP and start to find a buyer back up into that previous high. So after breaking out and confirming buyers off those pullbacks off of VWAP in the 90 MA, I take my entry off this pullback here, put a stop loss at the bottom of this last candle to ensure we do continue higher. That's how I caught the first big trade here out of market open from 216 to about 240s. Now, after that trade, I realized it puts in place this big topping tail off the high, which signals sellers to the upside. So I know that sellers are finding this thing consistently over $2.30. So I sit back and wait for a better opportunity with better risk to reward. So this actually knifes off the high beneath the 90 EMA, beneath the 20 EMA and VWAP. But then what happens here is it reverses and gets bought back up over VWAP and over that 20 EMA, where I then take my entry risking off the 20 EMA. So we're over the 20, over VWAP, over the 90 EMA, and over this past level here from earlier in the morning, which of course I also knew we had range to these past highs based on these big wicks from earlier in the morning. And that is how I caught the next big trade here this morning on YCBD before it got squeezing back up through its highs all the way to a new high of day from 220's entry all the way over $2.40 once again. Which, of course, I took a full profit back up into these highs based on this past area of rejection. Now, last but not least, based on these wicks off the high from earlier in the morning, this is an area of supply. So the only way to then play out of that area of supply is if price breaks above and confirms off pullbacks to make that an area of demand. Where, as you can see, I was able to take pullback entries off the 20 EMA again for another really easy win. To watch me trade stocks just like this in real time every single day, grab that 7-day free trial. And let me know in the comments if you traded this today. But the watch list was on fire yet again.